Hey, and welcome to episode 3 of the best and worst of indie books. It's been a really long time since I've done one of these, and I'm really sorry. It's actually kind of sad. I've had the worst prepared for a while, and I just couldn't find the book that I really loved. I've been getting a lot from the library lately, but we're here now, and I have the best and worst. And as usual, we are going to start with the worst. And whoo, is this one a doozy? Behold the Harvest Moon by Stephen M. King. M. King, not the other one. This is a book that I was tempted to read for a while. I actually know the author, not well, just kind of one of those people where I repeatedly end up in the same room as him. I wouldn't call us friends or anything, thankfully, because this is not going to go well. This was marketed as a YA. It is not. And it is also $20, which is a lot for this. And before you go, well, you just don't want to pay the author, let me show you something. Whoop. This book here, this other indie self-published book, this was $15. This was $20. Are we seeing this? So right there and then, I'm like, eh. This revolves around a young boy named Brendan who stumbles across a other world that he becomes the hero of. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the plot. And right from the get-go, it starts off weird. The character of Brendan is literally just walking through this old Halloween shop and then keeps walking. Literally the first several pages of this tiny little book is just him walking through a Halloween shop, and then suddenly, bam, other world. He just keeps walking and things start getting darker and darker and darker and darker, and suddenly he's in this other space. And the character of Brendan, who is really the only main character, well, not the only main character, the only character. Most of the rest of them are side characters that don't really even have names and kind of flit in and out. It's really just him traveling through this world, maybe meeting people, but no one ever sticks around. And his thoughts are very strange. He is, I believe, doesn't give you the exact name, but it's supposed to be like a preteen to early teenage boy. So we're not talking any older than like 13 or 14 here. But the way he thinks is the weirdest thing in the world. It's so much. Let me see here. All right. So this is one of Brendan's thoughts. Page 109, if you want to turn to that page. I hate to be the kid using dated vernacular, but I am truly over this whole place. My destiny awaits me in the darkness, out on the plains. It's time to go find it. The cannon's cacophonous crushing has given me a way out, and even more, the energy to flee. In what modern day universe, because this is modern, he has a cell phone, does a preteen boy speak or think like that? It makes no sense. Now, maybe there are boys that's supposed to, but it reads like a man trying to use all of his fun words, even though his character realistically would never think like that. It reads like, I want to, have fun using all the big words and $5 words, is that the phrase? Without actually showing how a character would think. And it is aggravating the entire time. Now, the one upside that I will give this book is that the ambiance and the descriptions of the setting are very well done. But that's basically it for the most part. This book is not very long, as you can see. It's, I believe, 178 pages, and the majority of that is dedicated to describing the world he's going through. And it does have a kind of Wrinkle in Time, Alice in Wonderland-esque charm, but nothing happens, and the character doesn't act like a kid. He never really even questions why he's going through all this. It's just kind of a case of, oh, well, I guess I'm here now. Oh, I guess there's a boat now. Oh, I guess this is happening now. Like, it's never like, oh my god, I have to go back, or oh my god, is this a dream? Will I wake up? Like, he never questions anything at all. And it makes it that much more unbelievable in a weird way that he believes it so easily. It was a weird book. I had to force myself to read it, and I don't usually do that. I usually DNF, but I knew not very long into this, I knew I was going to be using it for this series because it is just that strange. Now, fortunately, I know, like, while the author knows me, we're not close. He's not going to watch this, and I don't foresee this ever coming up. This is a series, in case you can tell. This cover, man, this cover. This says Brendan Batts' Bold Ballad, which is just the worst, worst font for that. The cover in general is a little bit This was also published in, I believe, 2012, which is a bit ago. Yes, 2012. So it's safe to say that indie books have come a really long way in a very short time. Ebooks have come a really long way in a very short time. So I would have to read more indie books published years and years and years ago to judge if this was really par for the course cover-wise. But just in general, not the best cover. And yet will not be continuing with the series. Because I don't care how much the book wants to tell me he's a hero. He's not. But now, let's talk about the best. And, I love this book. And that is Aletheia by Megan Tennant. This book was more than what I expected. I actually didn't like it when I started it. I first read it for the Witchathon, and I didn't realize how long it was. It's over 500 pages. I was expecting something a lot shorter, so I started reading this thinking, oh, it'll only take me a day or two, so I had to read like a 520-page book in 2 days. So at first, I was very stressed out by this book, but I came around in the end. This is a, I believe, NA dystopia, focused on a post-apocalyptic world where this disease that robs your memories and turns you essentially feral, not quite zombie, you're not dead, but feral, has broken out. And this man called the Prophet has found the cure for it, but the cure comes at a cost. He is essentially creating a forced utopia on the backs of what are called the Nameless. These are people who were taken from the wasteland and cured of their disease in return for basically giving up their life. As the disease robs you of your memory, they have no memory of the world before then, and instead they are organized into 7 divisions that do all the work for the people living on top in the city of Iris so that they can live happy lives on the backs of what are essentially thousands of slaves. The main character is called 736 because the Nameless do not have names, they have numbers. 736 is in the 7th division, Division 7, which goes out to scavenge and comes across the depraved, or what they think it to be the infected. And she discovers, almost against her will, that there is a outer, not a rebellion, more like a settlement of people that want to help the Nameless escape and fight back against the man, as well as bring the cure with them. And so this is all about her trying to escape this giant compound, fighting back against a system that has been set up to keep all of them subjugated, as well as romance. Now, this book did read a little bit more YA at times, which was a little bit hard for me. It's also, it drops you in the deep end fairly early on, like by the 2nd chapter. They're holding giant things above your heads, and oh, BTW, within X amount of time, all these people are going to have their organs harvested. So, yay. The world I particularly loved, and I actually got really into it. 736 talks a little bit about her division and the other divisions. So I got bored, and I decided, what would my division be if I was in this world? And it would be Division 1, which in the book is the agricultural division, because I am kind of that hardy, stocky, down-to-earth type. So I would be Division 1. And I said, what would my number be? Which most of them are 2 to 3 digits, some of them 4. So I was like, well, I have favorite numbers 8 and 12, so I would be 812. And I tweeted that at the author, Megan Tennant. She is a author tuber slash booktuber on here. And I believe we're Twitter mutuals. I believe she follows me. I hope she follows me, or else it's going to sound really egotistical that I said that. But, so I tweeted out and I said, I finished the book. It was awesome. Here's what my number would be. Here's what my division would be. And she was so flabbergasted that someone had done that. Apparently no one's done it before. The book's been out for about 1.5 years, I think, at this point. Maybe a little less. And she goes, you know what? She goes, that's your number now. I had to create some other numbers for some other characters in the sequels, but that's yours. And so I was like, well, clearly I have to write fan fiction now. This is my number. Like, it's mine. It's canon. So I'm going to write fan fiction. So I've been doing that, and I'll have that link down below if you're really interested. But in general, I just loved the world was really nicely done. It kind of had that sort of well thought out aspect where not literally every aspect of the world was thought out, but enough was that it was intriguing. All of the nameless have a value assorted to them, meaning if you bring in a lot for your quota or you meet your quota or whatever, your value goes up. But if you use resources that the compound offers, your value goes down. So you work really hard, you bring in a bunch of, electronics from the outside world, your value goes up. You take a long shower and you can watch your value go down as you do it. And just this intricacy of the evilness, I guess, I really liked. It was obvious that you put a lot of thought into it. The love interest was not a sulking, broody, sad boy, which I love. Like, he even had reason to be. Like, you learn over the course of the story more about his past. So he had reason to be the sulky bad boy. And he wasn't. He was actually kind of goofy and had a thing about kittens. And it was great. I love soft boys. Well, he was kind of a soft boy. A little bit of a cinnamon roll, but with an edge. The part near the end, and of course I don't want to spoil it because I want you to read this, was very fast-paced. And, like, I remember sitting at the dining room table just like, no, what happens next? I read this on an ebook, by the way, that's why. I remember sitting there going, no, what's going to happen? Because, quick warning, the reason this is NA not YA is, she's not afraid to kill off major characters. And even the ones I thought, like, okay, I'm pretty sure, like, I can read the writing on the wall. I know this character's gonna go. But the way it happened, and the giant reveal before it, because there were some major reveals, was like a kick in the gut. And it was just a great story of fighting back. And I particularly love how the 736 gets her own faults kind of thrown in her face. She's not the impervious, perfect, I'm the heroine here to save the day. A lot of people are like, no, genius, this was a giant plan that took like a couple dozen people to formulate. You just happen to be the face people rally around. Like, I love that kind of concept of bringing her back down to earth, and she's not super sure of herself all the time as a result of where she grew up, more or less. Like I said before, they don't really remember their lives before getting picked up and getting the cure. So for them, the world is the compound. There was just, there is a little bit of LGBT rep, not very prominent, at least as far as I could tell. But I did love it. I am definitely going to continue this series. She is currently writing the second, I believe. I'm not sure when it's supposed to come out. However, this book in general was just incredibly high quality. If you can see, that cover was well done, and she paid professionally for it, and the editing and formatting of the book was well done. I've almost gotten used to the little glitches that happen in ebooks nowadays, or maybe covers that are slightly off, but Megan definitely puts so much effort into it, and it shows. This is, for me, what ebooks and indie published books can be. This is my 5-star. I guess I probably should point out the other one was a 2. And like I said, this is the series for the best and the worst. But this is definitely one of the best. I highly suggest that you get it. I'll probably have it somewhere in the description below, as well as a link to Megan Tennants' channel. She leans a little bit more towards AuthorTube than BookTube, but if you're bookish at all, you'll probably still be interested in it. And with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.